Good morning, Infinity. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Reverend Jeff Obafemi Carr here with you. We are getting ready to start today's live service. It is If Teaches Sunday. And what that means is when we're talking about from one dot to the next, connecting, this is the Sunday where the message, the download from Spirit, actually comes with your opportunity to interact with us, to ask questions. So this is unique to the Infinity Fellowship as an interspiritual community that is independent and freestanding. Listen, I want you in this moment to call your folks, to gather your people, get your family, get your friends together, send your texts out, send your chat box links in. Just let everybody know that we are here, that we are live, that we are ready to begin the Infinity Fellowship. Pour your coffee, pour your tea, get everything in order that you need to get in order, because we're going to have a great and awesome If Teaches Sunday today. We're so pleased that you decided to join us for the Infinity Fellowship. If you are on YouTube, hit the thumbs up button, share this link on all your social platforms, invite your folks, your like-minded spirits into this wonderful space of alignment. We're going to get started after just a few slides. We love you. Welcome to Infinity. Welcome home. Oh, good morning, everybody. Good morning. I got a few voices in the place today. As our voices of infinity are going to be lighting up in our. I don't know. We need to have a name for our movers of infinity. I don't know. We got. I don't know. We'll come up with it. The DOI sounds a little bit too, but Dancers of Infinity sounds too much like DOA. We don't want to. Yeah, we don't. We want it needs to be something. Terrence will come up with something amazing. I know, because he's got the and Thea. They'll come up with something just awesome for that. It's gonna be something. Yeah, something on the move. So, yes, we want to welcome you all into the Infinity Fellowship. This is the opening of the way. So, we also invite you, wherever you are at home, to pause what you're doing, sit everything still, and get into the space of awareness of the consciousness. Listen, I know, trust me, as a person who lives sometimes voluntarily and sometimes involuntarily on my devices. I know it's difficult because it's a lot going on and we always have to do something so important. And when we're not doing something important, we have to distract ourselves, or we feel we have to distract ourselves because we're not doing something important. So we have to fill the space. So this time, on this Sunday, in this moment, fill the space with peace and quiet. Fill the space with centering. Fill the space with breath. Because all of the other things that distract, they take away from the breath, and the breath is life. So I'm going to invite you to pause gently wherever you are, sit a little taller, stand a little taller if you're somewhere at home in your kitchen, and just take a deep inhale. And on the exhale, just relax all of your shoulders, relax your chest, relax your jaw, your chin, just let everything go. Take another deep breath just like that. Inhale. And on the exhale, just relax everything and allow your eyes to close. No longer focused on the external stimuli. No longer thinking of anything except for the breath. When we breathe, we connect our mind to our body. We connect our body to our spirit. We connect our spirit to our awareness. And we are saying yes. That this gift of breath is the gift of life. That we are here to live life and to live life more abundantly. Inhaling and exhaling. As we center ourselves, mind, body, and spirit. To-do lists, interactions that we had prior to this moment, they all just dissipate into the inhale and the exhale without judgment. We turn our attention back within. In this moment of awareness, unified by the breath wherever we are around the world, we recognize that it is good. It is good to be present. It is good to be aware. It is good to be conscious. From this space, we turn this to the light within. We focus this breath on the God of your acceptance and understanding. That entity, that energy that comes to mind when I say that word. That divine source of everything that we are. All the beauty of creation is manifest externally and internally. All the beauty of creation, that is who we are, made in the divine image and likeness. And we ask that all heads are now bowed, as all eyes are closed, as all hearts are open, as we journey into that space of affirmative prayer. As we pour our energy into realignment for manifestation, all together. Spirit, God, Creator, Mother, Father, we give thanks in this moment for the remembrance of your presence here with us today. We know that you are never not with us. You are always with us in every single thing we do. In every single word that we pronounce from our mouths, in every single thought that we have, in every single interaction that we have with other people who are also divine reflections of you. Oh, it is good to be in harmony today. Oh, it is good to be in gratitude today. Oh, it is good to be in celebration today. For those who type something in the chat today that they would like us to pray for, we speak that it will be manifest. For those who proclaim healing over themselves and others, we speak those things manifest. For those who have made significant accomplishments in their own personal journeys, we speak the affirmation of those manifestations. For those who speak things forward in their consciousness right now that they want to see in their lives this week, whether it is healing, whether it is growth, whether it is expansion, whether it is that next big idea, whether it is that aha moment of realization, we speak these things manifest. We give thanks in advance for the good and open doors. We give thanks in advance for families coming together in healing. We speak good in advance for this marvelous community that is now going on 10 years old. We give thanks for the many people who volunteer and give of their time, their talents, and their treasure to build this community called Infinity. We speak that this marvelous present is also buttressed by its past to go forward into a beautiful, harmonious future. A future where generation upon generation will experience healing, where generation upon generation will experience light and love, where generation upon generation will experience confidence that they take into the world to show and give permission to others that they can be loved and loved too. Thank you for today. Thank you for the awareness of the words that will come to us today in the teaching of the download. Thank you for the music that will come from the voices of Lady Kenitha and others who may be gathered shouting out when the ceiling bouncing off their vibrations of their positive energy in the space today. Thank you for our tech crew today, for Brother Tony back there working on our stream, and for Brother Joshua and Sister Kai back there working on our audio and sound and music, and for everyone who has joined us on that Infinite Life stream. There's something going on that is awesome in everyone's life. And even when there are some things that are difficult, some moments that cause us to pause for the necessary process of grieving and sorrow, let someone know that they are never alone, that you are always with them, and you are with them through us as a community. And for these things we give thanks. We proclaim the good. For these and other blessings that we cannot put into words right now, we simply breathe together in gratitude and exhale in affirmation. And so it is. Amen. Amen. Hotep. Shalom. Namaste. Ashe. It is done. Let us prepare for our pouring of libations. As we pour our libations today, I love it when we have a few more people in, even on our live broadcast days, our streaming days. But as we pour our libations today, it's a wonderful way to recognize that we stand on the shoulders of those who have come before. If you ever feel down in life, oftentimes I find myself thinking, and I think about the people who came before me. You take it down a little bit, that's great. The people who came before me many times had a little bit tougher than I had. I know my granddaddy was a sharecropper, and I'm like, I have some trouble sometimes growing tomatoes, and I don't know about y'all, but you have to prune a plant at the house, and I started thinking about all of those rows and getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning and meeting that mule. I said, okay, I think I can take care of watering this plant every week. There's some good things here. My other granddad had a farm too, and they had to get out there, and all of the kids had to go out there and milk the cows, and they had to go out there and feed the hogs, and all of this before they went to school. To my young people out there, you think about getting up at 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning, doing all of that, and then going to school and having to walk and not catch the school bus. Next time you flip open that laptop and say, I got to do this retake on this test, it'll give you a little more strength. So we stand on the shoulders of those who have come before, and as we do, it's a joyful moment at Infinity. So those of you who are in the Infinite live stream, if you want to throw somebody's name in there that you want to recognize, we invite you to do so at this time. We pour out with water because water is a living representation of this essence that we call reality right now. And the only reality that we can perceive is the reality that's in front of us. So when we see each other, we call each other by what we perceive to be our names. And the names are not really to our spirits. The name is to this earth suit that we're wearing. And when this spirit leaves this body, that earth suit goes into the earth. And that's why we pour into the earth, because it puts the circle back together. So as we pour today, we'll go to the altar and pour. We want to recognize the energies of those who have come before. And we've got some very special ancestors to recognize today as we pour out. I'm gonna get my list so I make sure that I remember everybody that I wanted to recognize today, because if y'all haven't realized it, this has been a powerful little week since we gathered with some people who have transitioned. The great singer, the great Brazilian person who put a lot into the world. I mean, before we got to the American hits, there was a lot of energy that came out. The great Sergio Mendes, Ashe, we put that energy there. Of course, we pour energy for the great voice, power, presence, 93-year-old energy of Brother James Earl Jones, Ashe. More to come on this. In the energy that Lady Kenitha, in alignment with just music, gave us First Sunday. We were in here singing some wonderful music and dancing on First Sunday to the music of a legend who left us at Double Sevens this week, the great Frankie Beverly, Ashe. To the great, wonderful writer who I was first introduced to probably 30 plus years ago, who transitioned unexpectedly, Tina McElroy Ansa. Look up her work, Ashe. We also have one of our young ancestors who has made a transition at 29 years old, being the youngest principal dancer in the Dance Theater of Harlem, who also went on to the Netherlands and around the world at 29 years old, made a transition. Sister Michaela Mabinti de Prince, Ashe. Yes, and of course, to Sister Michaela, her energy in the place for her Auntie Addie. We send that energy into Sister Auntie Addie, who made that transition, 88 years old. Ashe, Ashe. If you have someone that you want to remember and recognize, of course, we invite you to do so in the chat as we go to the altar to pour the libations. And we say, cool water, freshen our spirits. Ashe. Freshen and consecrate this space for spiritual work. Ashe. Freshen our collective ancestors all together. Ashe. We give praise to Almighty Mother, Father God, Divine Source, and all creation. Ashe. do grant to us peace and prosperity. Ashe. Now we pour to our four cardinal directions. We pour to the energies of the north, where we what? I know. So, we decide to be a yes today. It's a commitment. Finding true north. We say this. Repetition and power reminds us of what these directions represent. And we're going to have a great experience in just a few weeks that are going to remind us of these four cardinal directions too. But let us be a yes today. That is what the north represents. Ashe. To the energies of the south, which represents being grounded in who we are and whose we are. Think about that today. Ashe. To the energy of the rising sun of the east, definitely knowing that no matter what happened yesterday, we got a new chance to do it all again today. And isn't that good? Ashe. To the energy of the west and the recognition that even in the darkness, we have the moon and the stars. There's always a light somewhere. And sometimes we are called on to be that light when someone else is going through some darkness. Ashe. From there, two more directions, the ground below us where we are rooted, so that when we experienced the storm, as many of us did, there were a couple of hurricanes that came across the nation. People hunkered down here in Nashville, and you never know with the storm. Sometimes it's winds that come, sometimes it's rain that comes, sometimes it's hunkering down and buying up all the milk and the bread in Nashville, and then the storm doesn't come, it just sprinkles. But hey, either way, when it comes, it will bend you, but it's better to bend than it is to break. Ashe. Into that sky above us. The blank landscape where we get to dream our dreams and recognize the gift as little seed creators that we have to create something that becomes manifest in reality. What a gift. Ashe. To the seventh direction, the grand central station where they all come together, the space of the heart. May our hearts always be light. May they always be as light as the feather. Ashe. This time, we're going to pour the rest of the water and invite you to call aloud the names of those ancestors, those people who have transitioned into the space of life after life. And you don't want to do it online, you can do it online, or you can also call it aloud in your house. Some people to say in a house, hey, here's a name that I want to remember. Let's do so at this time. What H. Carr, Queen Mother Catherine Hayes Carr, Queen Mother Bernice Brunson, Queen Mother Zuli Ursu, Queen Mother Zuli, Queen Mother Dorothy Smith, Queen Mother Melba Sewell, Haskell B. Carr, Della Mae Carr, Thomas Hayes, Gussie Hayes, also Carson, Hayes, Rosemary Frazier, It's Deborah Brady, Larry Harris, be with us today. Frankie Lane Davis, and Andy Foles. And finally, for the children in the world, in the womb, and yet unborn, we say together, Ashe, 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 oh. And so it is done. Let us come together for our statement of infinitude. Y'all give us some snaps and energy at home for Lady Kenitha Carr.
Well, good morning. Good morning. So greetings. I am Lady Kenitha Carr, and I'm pleased to welcome you to the Infinity Fellowship. And we want to pause to remind you of the four core principles of this gathering. We call it SNAP. The S in SNAP is for spirituality that transcends religion and connects you to the God of your own understanding. The N is for nurturing of ourselves and others, mind, body, and spirit. The A is for action because we take action in our callings and we walk in our divine purpose every day. And finally, this is important, the P is for the proof. move, that our spiritual practices manifest fruit in our lives through the building and maintaining of healthy and prosperous families, relationships, careers, and dreams. We are grateful that you all are here as unique manifestations of our Creator, the loving, living spirit of our commonality, the divine source of all creation, perceived by many names, yet known by only one energy. This is the foundational practice of true interspirituality, where all are affirmed in love energy. So, guess what? I invite you all at home and also in this space to stand with me and join me in our statement of infinitude. We agree that we are beings of pure eternal spirit, birthed from the creative potential of the universe, with all the powers of the Creator inherent within us. We embrace the innate goodness of humankind and an abundant creation that provides for us through the seeds that we plant in our everyday lives. We acknowledge that who we are is housed in a temporary biological organism, and as such, it is our responsibility to take care of it, because it will only last for a precious window of time. As we nurture ourselves spiritually, mentally, emotionally, and physically, we commit to provide like acts of nurturing for our fellow brothers and sisters of the world we live in, embracing all regardless of religious faith, skin color, ethnicity, gender, sexual orientation, or socioeconomic background. All are truly welcome at Infinity. We agree and accept that various religions exist as a unique opportunity for humanity to get to know one another through meaningful conversations that seek to explore the core concepts we share in common. It is the application of ancient wisdom, scientific discovery, and spiritual practices, both physical and metaphysical, that will lead us closer together as a human family. We commit to exist now and ever as a beloved community. Let it be so according to the many ancient terms of affirmation. Amen, Amin, Hotep, Shalom, Namaste, Ashe.
All right, we can be seated and just enjoy some gratitude in the space today. Wherever you are, we're going to get some gems of gratitude from you. Listen, standing ovations, of course, you're going to have that link up in your chat in a little bit, but we want to hear about some of the great things that some people have done and the great accomplishments that they've made. I'm eyeballing folks that have done great things, but we want to generate some gratitude. Listen, the way you generate gratitude is really simple at Infinity. We've even got a slide up for you right now on the screen for you to see. All you have to do is my name is and what you're grateful for. If you go to that, you'll see it. It says my name is and I am grateful for. What you do is just type that in. We want to know you. If you're on the chat, we want to get with you and send that energy into the atmosphere today. And we're going to say good morning to you to facilitate that energy. Good morning. We're going to crank it. Yeah, let's go.
A good morning to you. A good morning to you. A good morning to you. Good morning to you. And we say a da 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 a da 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 a da 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 da. Hey, good morning to you. Good morning to you. Good morning to you. Good morning to you. A good morning to you. A good morning to you. A good morning to you. Good morning to you. And we say a da 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 a da 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 a da 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 da
So I'm going to say good morning to people. I just want to send a shout out. Of course, I want to send a shout out to the Jones Ortega Brown family. I love it. They're in the house today. The energy's in the place today. I want to send energy out to Sister Christina. It's good to see you today. Good to see you. Brother Johnny and Chris Sadler. Connie, good to have y'all in the house today. Brother Tyrell, seeing your ancestors pop into the place today. Good to see you. I think I said Michelle. Good to see you. Sister Michelle's in the house. Sister Destiny Muhammad is in the house there. Yes, acknowledge these same ancestors. Lakeithia, good to see you in the place there with your people acknowledged, of course, seeing these ancestors. Natasha, good to have you in the space today. Good to have you in the Infinite Life stream. Of course, I shouted you out, Tiffany, shouting you out again. Jimmy, good to have you in the place. Brother Martin, good to have you in the chat. No, we're going to see you here in a little while. It's good to see everyone who is checking in today in that chat, saying good morning, putting good energy into the Infinite Life stream. It's a great way for us to continue to connect again, continue to share, continue to say hello, continue to talk to each other in the chat today. It is If Teaches, so this is a wonderful time for us to do so. If you are a first-time visitor at Infinity Fellowship, this is the moment where we get to welcome you, and I say again, good morning. My name is Jeff Obafemi-Carr. In this place, I'm known as Rev Jeff, and this is where we welcome you to the Infinity Fellowship. This is where people make the quantum leap from simple religious doctrine into expansive and profound spiritual experiences. We're going to ask that if you are visiting for the first time, that you scan the QR code that you see on the screen right now. That QR code will give us an opportunity to send you a little note and to say hello. We know that there are other things you could be doing with your time right now, and there are a lot of things that pull you in a lot of different directions. But something led you to infinity, even if you found this on the replay. We know that time and space is a construct of humankind. So some of you might be finding this on a wonderful replay, and you can still scan the screen. So hold your phone up there and scan that QR code, and we can send you an official welcome. And we look forward to seeing you. We also have a link that we'll put into the chat on all the platforms that'll lead you to this exact same form. But listen, this may be your first physical time at Infinity, but we like to let you know that we see the real you. So as we see the real you, we like to welcome you in a special way. You are not just a human being who showed up today to have a spiritual experience. That's going to happen for you. But you're a spirit who's navigating the human experience just like the rest of us. So if you're a visitor, you're with somebody, turn to somebody at home or turn to the screen. I got you here. If you're here in the place, turn to somebody and take a look at them, hold some hands in their direction because they're going to repeat after me. This is our Infinity Welcome. Take a big deep breath, exhale, and connect with somebody. This is what we say to our visitors. I see you. But you don't hear me though. I really see the real you. I see who you are. You are a divine manifestation of God's creation. I see what you are. You are a spirit. You're more than what's on the outside. You are a gift to me and to the entire world. I see where you are. You're right here in front of me, where I can let you know, if nobody else will today, that you are not alone. I'm with you. We're with you around the globe, and you are at home. I see when you are. You're in the right now, baby. You are so much more than your yesterday. I see why you are. You're here to learn, to grow, to embrace your dreams, and to celebrate your divine destiny. I know this because I'm here to do the same thing. So we're going to help each other out. All right? I know the real you. And I see you shining today. I feel you shining today. Oh, I know you're shining today. So welcome to infinity. Welcome home. Asheo. Give a fist bump to anybody around you. Give a fist bump to the screen. Walk up and touch it. Hit it. Throw a peace sign back. Hit a fist bump inside the chat. However you do a fist bump in the chat. Do a peace sign. Give a thumbs up. Let it go. Let it roll. Let it roll. Let it roll. Hey, say hello to somebody. Say hello to somebody. Say hello to somebody. For me, I'm going to say hello. Andrew Ferguson, good to have you in the place. I got a gratitude moment coming in from Brother Terrence. Grateful for being of sound mind and body, and also grateful for the 5K we ran yesterday without falling out. I'm told it happened in record time as well. So isn't that beautiful? So grateful for bike rides, even when I fall over. I hear you, Andrew. I know how that is, man. Sometimes you're just trying to make it as best you can. And again, Sister Tiffany reminds us, don't forget to hit the like button. Sister Thea is grateful for an able body. We got a lot of physical activity that took place this week. Everybody did a lot of physical stuff. So I'm grateful too. We were able to get back in there. Jimmy is grateful for love, for fellowship, for joy. It's good to see this gratitude going in. Sister Michelle again is saying hello, sending love from Texas. Grateful for family and a beautiful sunny day. Love you, Infinity Fellowship. We love you too, sister. And we are glad to have you all in here. Thank you all for saying hello. Thank you for being active in the love stream, in the infinite life stream, rather, is what we call it at Infinity Fellowship. And it is definitely that. This stream gives new life, and we invite you to share it with someone. Do not keep all the good energy to yourself. There's plenty in the universe to go around. It is time for us to take this wonderful energy that we bring into Infinity Fellowship and to transition that into our offertory period. This is our giving time. So this is when we pull out our devices. This is when we pull out our checkbooks. This is when we old school pull out our post-it notes and put our money order reminder on so we can go down to Western Union or wherever you go to get your money orders. We appreciate it, y'all, when y'all make that extra effort to do that to support this community. But wherever you decide to give in terms of your platform, we thank you for the energy that you're putting behind the giving space. The giving is an active way to participate in community. And oh, I am so excited that we have an opportunity to give today from around the globe. If you are giving via PayPal around the globe, you can give with our email address, which is infinitynashville@gmail.com. If you're giving through Cash App, it is the $ Infinity Fellowship. If you're giving through regular PayPal, it is paypal.me/Infinity Fellowship. You can go to that link. And of course, we're going to put those up on the screen in a minute, because one affirmation that we give is that everything is good. Take a deep breath with me here. Exhale and let it go. Today, we're talking about connecting the dots. And from dot to dot, from moment to moment, as we connect every spiritual practice that we undertake. So yes, we want you to think positive. Yes, we want you to speak good into yourself and others. Yes, we want to realize that you are a divine manifestation of creation. And yes, we want to realize that creating is also giving. And this is what that practice does. For those of you who have testimonies, we love to hear them. We never hear the end of testimonies of people who say, ever since I aligned myself to the vibrational frequency of giving, good things have started happening in my life. They didn't happen instantly, but it happened consistently. And the reason why it often doesn't happen instantly, sometimes it does, but it also doesn't because we've been in a rut so low of the taking and the lack mentality that it takes a while for you to adjust through spiritual practice to the vibrational frequency of giving. But once you hit that groove, oh my goodness, it's beautiful. So this is what we practice at Infinity Fellowship. So I want you to get your device ready. And as you get your device ready, we are going to say our offertory affirmation. This is not just rote memorization. This is not just something that we say when we say, oh, let's try to create. So everything after that. We don't know. We intentionally take a deep breath. We intentionally think about every single word. And we think about every single word as it relates to where we are. And where we are is a good space of gratitude. So take a deep breath and let it all out. And we'll go to the words on your screen. Let us say it together. O limitless, abundant Creator, source of everything I possess, you have given me the gifts of life, breath, and creativity. You continue to provide for me without judgment or preference. And so I freely return these gifts to you with my whole heart, mind, and intention, knowing that as I give freely with both remembrance and gratitude, the circle of abundance will be unbroken. And so it is. Everything is good, y'all.
Everything is good.
Everything is good.
Everything is good.
I got it. I got it. I got it good. Let's sing that thing.
Everything is good. Everything is good. Yeah. Everything is good. Yeah. Everything is good. And I've got it. I've got it. Oh, I've got it good. Yeah, everything. Everything is good. Yes, it is. Everything is good. Everything is good. Oh, everything is good. And I've got it. I've got it. Oh, I've got it good. Hey, everything. Yes, it is.
Everything is good.
Oh, everything is good. Yeah, everything is good. And I've got it. I've got it. Oh, I've got it good. Come on and tell yourself everything is good. Yes, it is. Oh, everything is good. Oh, everything is good. And I've got it. I've got it. Oh, I've got it good. Hey, everything. Yes, it is. Oh, everything is good. Yeah, everything is good. And I've got it. Woo! I've got it. Oh, I've got it good. Come on and tell yourself. Yes, it is. Everything is good. Oh, everything is good. Everything is good. And I've got it. I've got it. Oh, I've got it good. Oh, I've got it good. I've got it. Hey, I've got it. Oh, I've got it good. Oh, I've got it good. Hey, I've got it. Oh, I've got it good. Oh, I've got it good. Yeah.
Woo, how awesome is that, y'all? We got it good. We got it so good at Infinity Fellowship that we don't want to end the offertory. We just want to keep it going. And it's good. You can keep it going. You can just keep it going through the service as you need to. Afterwards, of course, on the replay, at the end of the service, we put up a slide so you can do your do spiritual practice and enjoy that in here. Listen, if you got a standing ovations, I'm going to put a physical link into the chat right now that you can just click on. So just click on that link that you see in the chat and go ahead and visit. Or if you're watching on YouTube, you got a second to go ahead and hold up and grab the QR form, the QR code, so we can celebrate your standing ovation with you. We want to get that standing ovation into the universe. as quickly as possible. And I see we've got a couple already, which is good. But the first thing we want to do is to, as we prepare for standing ovations, is to make a couple of announcements. And the first announcement we want to remind you of is that this is the 9th month in the year 2024, the year of divine reciprocity. Reciprocity is defined as an equal exchange or interchange, y'all. So the law of attraction teaches us that what we put into the universe is attracted to us. So isn't it beautiful that we're excited to invite you to say together our daily mantra that hopefully we're saying at least once a day, maybe twice a day, 3 times a day, once, twice, 3 times an affirmation. Let us breathe and say it together. I am that I am. I give, I get, I've got it good. Yes, we do. We definitely got it good. I love to know that. We want to remind you that Sunday services going forward, we still are meeting first Sundays in person. Woo! It's so much fun. Virtual only second, third, and fourth Sundays. Today we got a few people in the place because we got a very special treat that is coming up. Lady Kenitha is over the moon. We're going to add next week headstands to Yoga Sunday because she's about to do a headstand already. Might do a back handspring. We're going to see if we can get that next week. But we are virtual. Listen, spread the word. This is a great place to be on first Sundays. It's also a great space to be in on Sundays like today because you get to just put us on the screen and interact with us in a loving way. Shout out to our Infinite Life streamers. Here's the key. Everybody's an Infinite Life streamer, usually second, third, and fourth Sundays, and that's a beautiful thing too. This month's theme, September's theme, has been wonderful. It's been from pieces to prosperity. How to navigate life's complexity with clarity. We've been going through this. If you have not watched some of the replays, you got to go back to first Sunday, second Sunday last week. Today, we're going from one dot to the next and taking questions. So I hope you're getting your journals ready because we're going to dive deep in a few minutes and get some work done. We're going to get some work done. Third Sunday is about getting some work done. We want you to go from pieces to prosperity. It's okay to be in pieces sometimes, but how do we get to a space of prosperity? Prosperity being physical, being most emotional, mental. It's not always just about how much money you got in your account. We want you to be wealthy in all of the most beautiful ways possible. So that is this month. Speaking of this month, coming up at the first of next month is our 10th year anniversary celebration. Woo! 10 years of Infinity Fellowship, y'all. 10 awesome years. And there's so many things that are either launching or being brought back after our anniversary, including our annual meeting, our fitness challenges that we're going to have, our youth events, our book clubs, our If Foodies Club. We get to go travel around and taste what goodness is happening in Nashville and kitchens and talk about it. Corks and Conversations, of course, our married folks and single folks Corks and Conversations coming up for this coming year. Our Sacred Sweat Lodge and our community cleanup. So we want to remind you that all of these things are coming as we celebrate 10 years of doing this thing. As we celebrate 10 years of doing this thing, it is official. Coming Home Sunday, first Sunday in October. Mark it on your calendar. 10 o'clock a.m. It's going to be insane in the most beautiful ways. It is so big that we could not contain it here at 641 West Nocturne Drive. We had to book a large and beautiful facility, and we have done just that. It will be at Lighthouse on the Lake. Sunday service will be Lighthouse on the Lake, October 6th, 10 a.m., 133 Sanders Ferry Road, Hendersonville. It's about 10-15 minutes from Infinity, so it's not too far. It is actually a lighthouse, and it is actually on a lake. So you will be able to look to the right and the left and actually see the water, and we will go there. We will have a fabulous celebration. We got the Voices of Infinity already gathering here right now, getting ready for this celebration. So we got a Infinity Alumni Choir with a live band that's going to be singing. We've got gift bags for kids. Bring everybody. If you are at home, mark your calendar. If you're in the band app this week, we'll send you some hotel suggestions. Sister Tashana is sent. It is a coming home, past, present, future. It doesn't matter. If you came one time, if you've never been, everybody put on your calendar that this is a day. We've got great food that's going to be there as well. And then later on, we'll have a happy hour reception over here at the Infinity Center. We want you to join us. As one activity that we're doing as part of Coming Home Weekend, we are reminding you that our Sweat Lodge is happening. Lord have mercy. Thank you all. For those who have already registered, for those who have not, go ahead and let us know you're coming, because later this week and the first part of next week, we will actually be rebuilding the frame for the lodge. And the reason why we did a QR code is not because there's a cost to the lodge or anything like that. It's not in the tradition of the lodge for us. But we want to make sure we can fit everybody reasonably comfortably. If y'all hear the laughing in the background, it's because there ain't creature comforts in the Sweat Lodge, right? But that's the point. You go in to be with community, and you go to get beyond those things. The Sweat Lodge, if you Google, if you look it out, if you register, we'll send you information, detailed on information on what to bring. But we do want to welcome you to this opportunity to experience something that has been a part of Infinity's tradition from the very beginning. We build it in the sacred Lakota tradition with the willow saplings and the wood and the stones, the grandfathers and grandmothers. Just a remarkable experience. If for nothing else, you get to shed the toxins that you've been carrying around with you, but you also, if you go deeper, shed those spiritual toxins as well. All faiths, all paths are welcome. We will work to get into that lodge before sundown. So Friday evening, I would say take your Friday off from work if you can. But if you have to come over after work, we invite you to come to that too. Next week, y'all, Yoga Sunday. We're going to be doing some great stuff up. That Sweat Lodge code, this is the last week. We'll put a slide up for it because we do want to move toward building. But listen, we are going to get this going with this Yoga Sunday. Moment to moment, one asana at a time. That is our theme. That is our theme. Also now, we want to remind you that every Wednesday in the band app is a remarkable activity held by the dynamic duo, Tyrell and Tashana Lindsley. It is an opportunity to have a great conversation, y'all. It's so great. Sometimes I sneak in, but I try not to because I want everybody to have a safe space where they can just talk about. You know, I talk on Sundays, and it's great. And sometimes with individual counseling, it's there. But this is a group where you really do get to participate and share and have great and profound conversations and have a safe space where people join you in community. And we appreciate the love and the light that goes forward from that conversation. 7 o'clock, and I mean, they are on time. They do not play. 7 o'clock. And I've heard that sometimes the conversation goes so well that they had to hit the re-up for the second hour. So again, if you are joining the Infinity Fellowship, we'll get you through new members orientation, and then you get to get in the band app, and band app is just a wonderful way to keep in touch with community. That said, y'all, we want to prepare the way because it's time for standing ovation.
Tune your vibration to a high elevation. It's time for the good news, our standing ovation.
Yes, so our high energy at IF comes from our practice of SNAP. It's why we snap our fingers during this part of the
Snap.
service.
Oh, yeah, we're gonna snap.
We receive practical lessons and tools for our individual journeys at spirituality. We fellowship with like-minded spirits every week. That's nurturing. We take what we learn and apply it in our lives, and that is action. And if we
Yes.
do these, then every week we see examples of progress in our lives. And guess what? That's the proof. So let us pause to enjoy a collective moment of manifestation and expansion. So here's what's going to happen. When your name is called, please stand wherever you are, or if you're able to, as I read aloud each manifestation. Once I read them, we're going to snap our fingers to affirm them. And then at the end, we get to do a standing collective ovation.
Yes, indeed. And I'm making sure that I got everybody's ovation that's coming in online.
Yes.
Okay, we got it. Full. So first one goes to Tony I. Tony I is practicing that gratitude. Tony says, I will be performing a piece in God's Trombones on next Sunday, the 22nd at 3 p.m. at Dark Horse Theater. God's Trombones. That's one of our favorite pieces. It's one of our favorite pieces. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. All right, Brother Joshua Smith has a standing ovation. I officially moved into my new apartment.
Well,
This is a big step for me. I'm growing and learning more about myself and excited for the journey I'm on. A lot more standing ovations to come.
Our oldest son.
Oldest is doing it.
He is
Ain't it great?
He got his own place.
He got his own place, y'all.
All
We're here to tell
right.
you as living witnesses, it does get
Before
better.
23.
Yes, before 23. You'll be
Go ahead,
good.
bud. All right.
All the work that you do,
Man.
he does. You know, for our people who are raising him, there comes a day when they get out the debt. You're in New Nashville, got a new apartment in New Nashville.
Well,
So he must be balling out of control. I love it.
budget is a must.
You get it where you can take it. You get it where you can take it. Joshua, I won't tell you about. I can't take you to my old apartment right now because number one, I don't know that it exists, and it was rough when I lived there. But
Well.
our inside was beautiful,
Uh-huh.
but it was the trek to get inside. We had to run the gauntlet out there off of what they call the Nations now, but just beyond the Nations.
Yeah, nah, you didn't want to be out there.
Well, man, well, my.
A few areas in Nashville.
Oh man, we had a good time back there.
Yes.
You know, you made friends across all cultures back in those days, or early apartment days. You know, you move through, you make your friends at the trailer park. You got to move through. You make your friends at the projects. You move through, and then you move. There it is. You make your friends with your friends on the corner, and they say, "I'm here to help you." There it is. They look out for you. They say take something from everybody's apartment but that man's. That's what they used to say. We loved it. So we're in there giving thanks for that. Sister Angela Bartlett Treese, 19 years ago this past Friday, I was blessed to bring into this world a creative, fun-loving, awesome baby girl, Hillary. Grateful to be her mom. 19. 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Hillary.
Okay, great. So we got that in the space at 19 years old, y'all. 19. Okay, so with our standing ovations, those are the ones that came in. I'm going to shout out Thea and Terrence because they completed a run that I saw online.
Oh, is that where you got the idea?
No, well,
Oh,
we're trying to do the Spartan race. We're trying to do all of that, but it happens to be the same weekend. This one is the same weekend as Infinity's anniversary.
I was trying to.
So I was like, well, technically we could do the Sweat Lodge on Friday, do the Spartan race early on Saturday, then do Sunday. She's like, baby, I don't think we. Okay. Maybe I know. But I do not remember.
I didn't know where you were getting
I do not remember their specific time, but I'm thinking it was just over 3 miles in around 32 minutes. 32 minutes. Okay, so yes. How about that part? Yes, so my morning walk runs are going to be incredible. I'm stepping up my game, y'all. That's why they're handling our fitness challenge for us. It's coming up.
Yes.
So shout
And
out.
Brother Martin. Martin's going to get in there too. See, we got the people.
We got the people. We're going to do it. Shout out also, final standing ovation for Sister Lakeithia Nicole. Looking forward to seeing you. My new coffee client is doing 2 interviews this week.
Oh, yeah.
One with Channel 5 and one with Channel 4. Congratulations. Y'all, Lakeitha's in PR. So anytime you score what they call earned media in this media space that's crowded right now politically, that is a win. So shout out and kudos to you manifesting that, Lakeithia. That's a beautiful thing. Okay, Mama, what do we do?
All right, so if you shared, you get to have several seats while the rest of us are going to stand to our feet and give a thunderous standing ovation, okay? Here we go.
Yes, as we prepare. Thank you. As we prepare for today's download, we want to get you to get your singing voice in order. We're going to sing a little bit to get us into the mood. That's why I'm glad I got the Voices of Infinity in here today. Isn't it beautiful? We get to hear them. Matter of fact, I'm gonna turn this podium mic outward so that they can be heard as well, so that we can be in alignment here as we get ready to do our If Teachers download. Great download today, y'all. What a wonderful and blessed energy it is to have a place like the Infinity Fellowship to help us guide us along our journey. When we talk about our relationships, we talk about who we are. We want to first and foremost relate to our inner being. So today we're going to launch our energy from a quote from Abraham Hicks that I'll bring up on the screen. We're going to do some work today. I hope y'all ready for some work. All right, at home, are you ready to do some work? If you're ready to do some work in the Infinite Life Stream, go ahead and type that in. Say, I'm ready to work, because we're going to work today. Abraham Hicks teaches, if you make your relationship with your inner being your top priority, and you deliberately choose thoughts that allow your alignment, you will consistently offer the greatest advantage to others with whom you interact. Only when you are aligned with your source do you have anything to offer another. Now, I highlighted those things particularly because they're important. So let's just go back through that quote one more time. If you make your relationship with your inner being your top priority, relate to yourself as a top priority, and you deliberately choose. The reason why I put that deliberately choose is because that's important too. We get to make a choice. People don't like to admit it, but we get to make a choice. Every single day we're making a choice. But you're choosing, in this case, thoughts. These thoughts that allow your alignment. Alignment is fitting in a way that is going to produce success and results. You will consistently, that means something that is repeatable, scientific, over again, offer the greatest advantage to others. Don't you want to gift others with something awesome? This is where it shifts. This is where it changes. What do I get, right? It shifts from what do I get to what do I give? Because we always want to get something good from others. We want everybody to be good to us. But do we want to give the greatest advantage to others with whom we interact? Only when you are aligned with your source do you have anything to offer another. So only when you are aligned do you have anything to offer to another. We want to be in a position of offering something to another. Y'all, let's sing a little bit. Get it going. Come and go to that land. Come and go to that land. Come and go to that land where I'm bound, where I'm bound. Oh, come and go to that land. Come and go to that land. Come and go to that land where I'm bound. Oh, there is love in that land. There is love in that land. I said there is love in that land where I'm bound, where I'm bound. There is love in that land. There is love in that land. There is love in that land where I'm bound. Oh, there is peace in that land. I said there is peace in that land. Oh, there is peace in that land where I'm bound, where I'm bound. There is peace in that land. There is peace in that land. There is peace in that land where I'm bound. Oh, there ain't no hatred in that land. Say there ain't no hatred in that land. There ain't no hatred in that land where I'm bound, where I'm bound. I say there ain't no hatred in that land. Oh, there ain't no hatred in that land. Oh, ain't no hatred in that land where I'm bound. Oh, my highest self is in that land. I say my highest self is in that land. Oh, my highest self is in that land where I'm bound, where I'm bound. Oh, my highest self is in that land. My highest self is in that land. Oh, my highest self is in that land where I'm bound. Oh, don't you wanna go to that land? Don't you wanna go to that land? Said, don't you wanna go to that land where I'm bound, where I'm bound. Oh, don't you wanna go to that land? Don't you wanna go to that land? Y'all, don't you wanna go to that land where I'm bound? Inhale and exhale. Inhale again. And exhale. Inhale that good feeling of resonance. Hold it right there, knowing that all is at peace, all is well, all is operating in alignment for us for this moment going forward. Exhale, release, coming back into this world, into this reality, into this plane of existence. Oh, what a wonderful time to be here and to be around and to be aware. If you don't know it's a wonderful time, I'm pleased to give you the good news, because it is good news. And the fact that you are here in the space with us today and here with us online today, you are completing your next level of the next step of your journey. Because today we're talking about from one dot to the next. If you're able to, turn to somebody and say, from one dot to the next. Moment to moment. Stay where you're at. Okay. That's all we need to right now. You know, I talk a lot about connecting the dots, and connecting the dots, if you see there's this thematic download that is coming. A lot of these downloads for this month came a little over a month ago, and I just had to go somewhere and sit and listen, and a lot of this came pouring out at once. And as it happens with spirit in this alignment field of energy, it begins to determine how it is unveiled moment to moment, and it also begins to explain how it is revealed in pieces, just like the puzzle. And last week we talked about how to assemble a puzzle when you don't have a picture. And that becomes the challenge, but we talked about how to get through that last week, and now we're talking about dot to dot to dot. When I think about connecting the dots, many of you used to play that game, and you connect the dots and then you see the picture, and there may have been several dots that you saw that you needed to connect. And when you do those connecting dots, you can have a dot here, you can have a dot there, you can have a dot there, you can have a dot there, and it would give you a sequence. And when you ended up connecting those dots, you began to see a picture. But you see just the random dots, you don't know what the heck of the picture is until you start connecting the dots. And once they tell you to connect the dots, you start to see what the picture is, and you're like, oh my gosh, there's more dots there. And you start connecting the dogs, and whether you know it or not, just to confirm, they are not eating the dogs, they are not eating the cats. They are not eating the dogs, they are not eating the cats. But in this case, you see that may be a cat, or with Rev's artwork, this may be a dog. I'm practicing. But they are not eating the cats in Springfield. They're not eating the dogs in Springfield. We know that this is not happening. But one dot that was connected in a powerful way, that was an interesting way that got connected. And I said, wow, this is something pretty doggone remarkable, is that has now in less than a week become a part of American lexicon and culture. Not because it's true, but because there are some artistic people on the internet. I heard a guy who did a reggae song from the former president's kind of unhinged diatribe about Haitian immigrants eating. He said, they're eating the dog. And this guy took it and sampled it and said, they're eating the dogs. And then he took an actual dog, and the dog was singing part of the song. He took an actual cat, and the cat was singing part of the song. And the title was, Why Is This So Good? And I found myself listening to it over and over again. And I said, I don't want to be sucked into a low vibration, but perhaps through music, they have transformed this and elevated it to something that is so silly, irreverent, and yet delightful. Even Lady Kenitha loved it. She didn't know what to do. But to give you a little tidbit of information, it gives you a more well-rounded view of Lady Kenitha. She, in addition to being a marvelous mind and an incredible talent and a wonderful writer and vocalist and chief operating officer, and of course, beautiful presence in the earth suit form, she also enjoys seeing when animals make creative sounds on the internet. It's a little tidbit. So it was remarkable for her to actually experience the dogs and cats singing their own song. But I say that to say that what happened there is an artist who was called, I love the point of creativity, y'all, because here's an artist who is called to be able to hear what is established reality and say that there is something else there. There was another artist who took one of those monologues that came out during this kind of unhinged diatribe, and he played along with it on a bass guitar, so that when he was hearing the speech being spoken, he was actually listening to the tones, you know, and that is a gift of hearing. And it is an ancient gift of hearing. When we study African languages a lot, when you ask what is the translation and transliteration into English, a lot of times you'll hear people, especially West Coast and South Africa, they'll say, how do you say in English? How do you say? How do you say? Because it's so limited. But I know that when I was learning a couple of roles when I was in the acting community back in the day, you'd have to learn that the language, my name, is Obafemi, but if you really say it, depending on the region you come, Obafemi, or Obafemi, or Obafemi, it's more, there's more to it. And the language is more musical. So when you say Alafia or Dabo, so da 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 da, and a musician can hear the music, right? And it's not just an African language, it's also tonal. When you think about Irish. I did a play once where you had to speak Irish and with an Irish accent. It's obviously speaking English, but you're speaking it, unless it's Celtic. I'm not gonna go down that road. But when you think about, what is the Irish? It's a beautiful kind of musical English accent. And so when you think about Irish is more of a musical tone too. Hey, thank me, Lucky Charms, is the way we think of it. But when you think about you actually start to hear, you don't realize you're hearing the music, but you hear it, and so musicians can connect the dots. When musicians hear people speaking, there is a gift that they have in their inner ear where they can say there's something to that. When an artist looks at your face, an artist, she or he can describe your face in geographic symbols. When I say, what does that brother look like? They said, he had a rectangular shaped head. He had an oval shaped mouth that was elongated. And you're like, oh, wow, okay, I got that. Yeah, that makes sense. But they're very specific about that. Dancers can tell a lot about a person and how they feel and how they exude confidence by the way they walk in a room. And they see it in movement. And when you tell a dancer or a choreographer, here's what I want to have this music say in the body, they can then translate words. And I mean, real dancers and choreographers, there's a lot that changes in this world today that people, sometimes think if you just get a flag and just do this, that means something. Well, it's great. We're going to get that expression. But when you see someone who is choreographing, who truly has their craft, you can turn off the music, and feel what's going on. You can watch in silence and see something beautiful unfold, because from dot to dot, from one dot to another, there's been this connective tissue that has woven this person's story and their gift. And it's time for you to weave your story together and your gift, because your past has left some dots behind that put you in a place where you can connect those to find purpose that leads you to prosperity. People have connected dots. This week we had some beautiful dots connected, y'all. And they were dots of gratitude. They were dots for people that we miss. People who gave beautiful art to the world. Just a few, we talked about Sergio Mendes. Sergio Mendes, he just, from bossa nova to other forms of art, gave years and years of creativity to an art form, an Afro-Brazilian connected art form that moved people. And we, in America, we got used to it. We got the message a little bit late, but Americans, we remember popular stuff that Sergio gave us. Never gonna let you go. Gonna hold you in my arms forever. Gonna try to make up for the time I hurt you so. Right? And we're like, oh, no, man, I didn't know that. Look, I got the voices here. They already taking it to the next. I got some artists in the house, y'all. And I love it. I'm here for it. But Sergio left that. And so we're going to miss his energy in this world, in this body, because he manifested his purpose. And when you manifest purpose, you leave something for people to be sad about. James Earl Jones. Did Obi-Wan tell you what happened to your father? He said you killed him. No, Luke, I am your father. I was a kid. Everybody was screaming right in the theater. Oh! You didn't even know it was dark. It was for 2 years. James Earl Jones didn't take credit for being Darth Vader, so he allowed the actor that was actually acting it out to get, the credit for it. But for 2 years, nobody knew, but they knew that moment. No, Luke, I am your father. Let them wait. I'm talking to my son. Coming to America, right? These iconic moments. Mufasa, remember. The stars aligned. If y'all saw that in The Lion King, or if you got to see even in that moment, tell you how good it was. It was so powerful in The Lion King that if you ever gotten to see the touring production, or, Lady Kenitha and I, we have a good friend who's in the Broadway cast, and we went up to New York and saw it in Broadway and went back and played with the puppets and everything. But that moment of remember, it was another actor, but all we heard was James Earl Jones' voice. Remember, and the stars lit up, we're crying. We're going to miss that. We're going to miss that voice. We're going to miss joy and pain. It's like sunshine and rain. Frankie Beverly. How many people have danced to this music? How many people have felt good? How many people have been near a state of depression and said, I got to put on some Maze with Frankie Beverly. I got to do this. And when I listen to it, it lifts me up. I was watching a little bit of the Southern Heritage Classic, and both UAPB and Aristocratic Bands were playing these tributes to Frankie Beverly. And you hear this music and people just in the stands, before I let you go. And everybody was just going in on this music. What a gift. And yes, it makes us sad when they leave the physical body. Because when people give, society takes. We want more. And the beauty about artists in these regards is if you want to at some point help them sustain, you eventually buy a ticket. And that's the give and take. I bought a ticket, I saw something great, I got some music, I invested in an MP3 or service, or Spotify, whatever it may be, that allows me to have this equal exchange. And it's beautiful because it puts us in this reciprocal space. This is the year of divine reciprocity. All of these dots are connecting. The aha moment brings us to a question, because we are sad when people leave us. Because they brought us joy, they taught us a lesson. They became unforgettable. Turn to somebody if you're able here. If you're at home, you could turn to somebody or look in the mirror. I'm going to give you a question to ask. Will people be sad for you? Turn to somebody and say that. I know it's heavy, right? But I'm going to write it. Will people be sad for me? And most importantly, why? Will they be sad because they will miss my gifts? Or will they be sad? Ooh, Spirit, why do you do that to me? Will they be sad because they miss my gifts? Or will they be sad because I missed my gifts? I do not mind these moments of contemplative silence because they're important. Will people miss my gifts, or will they be sad because I missed my gifts? Will the slideshow say they lived their life to the fullest, that here's what they gifted us? They were so gifted, they were so talented, they were so special. Or will the slideshow make people think, oh my gosh, they were full of so much potential. They could have been so talented. They could have done so many great things. Oh, what a sad shame. And those tears are tears of grief that fall into the space of doubt, of fear, of lack, of sadness. Tears come anyway when you make that transition, and all of us will make it. And yet, the best tears are the ones because people miss the wonderful giftings that they will not be able to get any more of, although those gifts will continue to give. And so as we move toward prosperity, when we answer that question, we talk about our journey going forward. And the journey that we're called upon to have is going to be full of some scars. Turn to somebody and say, how your scars doing? See, people are afraid of scars. I'm not afraid of scars. I love scars in a sense because of there's a reason why. If people get scarred by things, you get scarred by people saying no. You get scarred by choosing the wrong people to be in a relationship with. You know, and let me say this, choosing the wrong people. They're not the wrong people. They were the people you were choosing at that time based on all the information that you had. Turn to somebody right now and say, forgive yourself. You here now. All right, good. At least you didn't stay. So I want us to reframe this concept of stars. And in the chat box, anything that I say, repeat, y'all chat. Y'all infinite live streamers, y'all know to do this. First thing I want to give y'all is something about scars. It's the first point that I want you to take into your consciousness. Scars, whether they're physical, emotional, spiritual, or otherwise, are not reminders of your defeats. They are historical markers of your epic victories. Physical scars, you had some hard times there, you struggled. You not have been where you used to be. You can't run as fast as you used to run. You can't do all of, you know what? That's okay. You may have had a tough experience that kept you from wanting to do something. Emotional scars, you had a bad relationship that you survived. You had some abuse and some trauma that put into you. Spiritual, you had something happen to you. And it happened in church, it happened to you at a retreat, it happened somewhere, and it stunted your growth. But they're not reminders of your defeats, baby. They are historical markers, just like you put those historical markers on the street. And you say, here's what happened here. And people come and they witness those historical markers and they say, wow, I didn't know. But it's the sound of an epic victory. When you go to a historic marker downtown right now, and you see a historical marker that's outside the Woolworths, if it's outside there to remind you, it reminds you that inside that building, that some young lady who went to Fisk got some hot coffee poured on her head. And that's caused a physical scar. It caused a psychological scar. That some young man had his hair wet with the saliva of other people who were spewing their vitriol directly at them having the nerve to be of color trying to integrate a lunch counter in the 50s and 60s. And the marker is there. Do you not think that trauma was real for the people who were experiencing it at the time? And to simply order a sandwich and for that to be pelted with bottles and hot coffee poured on you and cigarettes burned on your skin. If you ever talk to an elder who was in that movement and they show you the back of their neck or their hand where they have a cigarette burn, 40 years later, 50 years later, they're not talking about that in the same tense that they were speaking when it was happening to them. Now they are talking about it from a space of victory because of their actions, now you can go in there and do what you want to. You could go get a sandwich, and as one elder said, I realized after we were able to go in there that the food really wasn't that good to begin with. But at least I didn't have to go to the back door. And so when it became a theater, you can go past the historical marker and say that. And now if you want to go to Thunder from Down Under, and you can go down there. Everybody's mad. The historic Woolworth building got purchased, and it got purchased by some people who were right-wing conservatives, and they started hosting rallies there. And recently they announced that it's going to be an all-male review going on in there. 5 nights a week. And people are like, in the historic Woolworth building? Well, look, the historical marker is there. which shows you that time continues to change and things will evolve. But it lives on in the cellular DNA of those who had the movement, and it lives on in the conversation, because just because you now get to talk about whether it's appropriate for a building that once had all of that history take place to now host an all-male review, Chippendales type thing, that allows you another opportunity to have a conversation about what really is important. And so because of that, it is a marker of a historic and epic victory. If you survived to talk about it, you can thrive and be about it. I'm going to write that up here so you can have that. If you survived and what's funny is I have the neatest handwriting in real time. If you survived. Now, when I'm not talking, I got great handwriting. Baby, you can read. My stuff looks like a book. It's pristine. But when I'm trying to talk, it's flowing so fast that I can't keep up with it. Only on the typewriter. I can do it on the typewriter. If you survived to talk about it, you can thrive and be about it. The reason why I say this is when we talk about Abraham Hicks and we talk about this quote that came out, what we use for our meditation today. When we talk about that quote, people will pull something from that quote. The last part of that quote said, only when you are aligned with your source do you have anything to offer another. Do not use that as an excuse to quit. Turn to somebody and say, don't quit. Type in the chat box, don't quit. The reason why I'm saying that is because people will take that quote and say, well, I'm not aligned with my source. I don't have anything to offer anybody. So I'm just not going, I'm going to wait until I get myself together. And I should just kind of isolate and not be a part. So I'm just, I know I don't have myself together. So I'm just going, no. And then you look up and it's a month, then it's 6 months, then it's a year, then it's 10 years. And you're still using the same excuse. You are not being about it. So I want you to go from what you can do to what you do. So let's talk about being about it. And then we're going to go downhill from here. Let me erase this because I want to stay on here. I hope y'all are writing fast because some of this is going away. I'm going to ask you this question. What are you willing to do? What are you willing to do? And again, we can type something in the chat. I want you to look at this. If I ask you, what are you willing to do to move beyond the scars, to say, I can do, I will do, what are you willing to do? Are you willing to do affirmations? That's a good thing. Is that a good thing? Are you willing to do meditation? Are you willing to read more? Are you? How many people in the space, are you willing to do those things? You think it's necessary? What else are you willing to do? Somebody, y'all are here, so y'all got to give me something. What are you willing to do to find spiritual growth? Make the time. I'm willing to make time. What else we got? Anybody in the chat, what are you willing to do? Y'all know something is coming, right? Okay, I know. Don't be scared. Oh, I'm willing to listen. I like it. Keep me on this, Tony. Gosh, man. What am I willing to do? Let's just take these. I'm willing to do affirmations. I'm willing to do meditation. I'm ready to read more. I'm ready to make time. I'm ready to listen. And again, this is when I'm aligning to my source so that I can have something to offer somebody else. What am I willing to do? What is there anything else? I don't want. Kenitha was blinking. Lady Kenitha was blinking at me. She was like, blink, blink. I was like, whoa. What are you willing to do to align your source, yourself with your divine source so that you can be better? Open-minded. Forgiving. I'm going to stop with 7 because now all of this stuff is going in. And this is why it's important. I know there's some chat things that are coming up in the chat and they're beautiful. Whatever it is that comes up, Tony, if you see them, just put them on this screen too. That'd be beautiful. I'd just overlay them if you need to. I won't be able to see it, but I know it's there. So here's the interesting question. The reason why I asked what you're willing to do first is because that is how our minds have been trained by Western society and the place that we live in right now, that there's something that we need to do. We have to-do lists, and we create to-do lists and we check it out. But as Chopra would teach us in a wonderful way, I'm going to change and add addition to the question. Go back to the board. What are we willing to be? Turn to somebody and say, who you be?
Who you be?
I be. I want you to I be. Now, what if somebody says, I be going to the store? Is that correct? She only does that. Hey, Taylor. Hey, family Thompsons. I see. I hope y'all on them with me. If somebody says, I be, and they say something, you stop them pretty quick. At least when I was coming up. We used to stop and say, son, don't say that. Don't say that. Right? But we think about being. The question is, and this is what has happened. Are we, bring some of this Chopra teaching in, are we human beings or are we human doings? Are we beings or are we doings? Because see, we're doing all the time. And when I'm teaching spirituality, people always come to me and they say, what do I need to do? Rev, what do I need to do? And I say, what do you need to be? What do I need to be? Somebody in the chat say, I be. I just want you to say I be. I be. Say I be. I be. Now, I want you to fill it in. But you can't fill it in with one of the actions words. You can't, because if you say I be, you can't say I be affirmations. I be meditation. I be read more. I be making time. I be listening. I be open-minded. I be forgiving. On some of those you can't, because they're also being. But if you are being something, it is actually everything that you do. It resonates into everything that you do. It is the source of everything that you do. So if you are being, are you being forgiving? Are you being empathetic? I'm about to, listen, we're now rebuilding the foundation, y'all. So we might have to overturn some rocks here. And I'm not judging. I'm just asking these questions because we want you to have true spiritual growth right now. Okay, if you have any questions, write them down. We're going to go to the chat in just a few minutes. We're not going to stay long. We're going to close this thing out. But I want you to take these questions with you from today forward. Are you being kind? Are you being understanding? Are you being, what's another one? Are you being still?
Patient.
Are you being patient? Are you being loving? I'm gonna stop at 7. We got all of those. Are we being those things? Because see, when we allow ourselves to be those things, then when I read this statement, see how it sounds. Same statement from Abraham. Only when you are aligned with your source do you have anything to offer another. Are you able to offer those things that you be? Are you able to offer your whole being, or are you basing what you're offering on doing for one another? What's on your list? What's on your list? If we check those off, we can go to the next step. Well, you don't have to worry about the list if you are operating in your true being. And your being is image and likeness of God. I guarantee you, go back to that slide, you take any of these aspects of who you be, and ask, who is God in your mind? Well, God is forgiving. God is empathetic. God is kind. God is understanding. God is in the stillness. God is patient. God is loving. So when you decide to do these things, you are actually being who you were born to be in the image and likeness of God. Isn't that awesome? Oh, I be God, God be me. Somebody chat that in the chat box so people can say, I be God, God be me. Listen, taking you to prosperity. I'm going to the second point. The journey of prosperity. This is a journey. The journey of prosperity begins, you got to get started, with a deliberately initiated series of connected vibrations. I love it because I hear the pins rattling here, and I hear the keys clicking at home. I hear you there doing what you're supposed to be doing. It begins with a series of connected vibrations. Deliberately initiated. That means that this stuff doesn't just happen without intention. Connected vibrations. What does that mean? Well, there's something that is popularized by two teachers that I've come across that are just awesome. A neuroscientist named Jeffrey Fannin, who talks about this, but this is also something that comes from teachings of Abraham Hicks, and it's called 17 seconds. If you can create a thought and maintain it for 17 seconds, that thought will have enough time to initiate a secondary vibration that will begin to attract for another 17 seconds. If you can continue, what's the message? One dot to the next. 17 seconds to another 17 seconds. That initiates another 17 seconds. It continues to go. And if you can get to a vibrational space of 68 continuous seconds, equal a vibration that is matching. Here's what's deep. Here's what's deep. This works because the universe shows no judgment. This works from the space of abundance and positivity, but it also is a vibration of negativity too. So if my initial vibration, I get up in the morning. When I get up in the morning and the sun rises And I get up in the morning, and that 17 seconds tells me that all is well. And I get to the kitchen and I have my cup of coffee. And I say, oh, yes. Oh, I love it. I love coffee. It's so good. Isn't it so good? I know how to make a cup of coffee. Oh, isn't it so great? Oh, man, the hot water is here. It's working. Oh, my gosh. And it's like vibration to vibration keeps going. Then I get in the car and I say, oh, man, I love my driver's license. I know how to drive right now. And I know that there's a lot of traffic right now, but it's still all right because, they know how to do it. But what happens right here when something takes you in another direction? And what was positive now becomes negative. What happens is you start thinking another 17 seconds of, why did that fool cut me off? Every damn day of my life, somebody else does this. I wish you would never have moved to this city. Me and Kenitha, we're both saying, why is there so many Florida tags in Tennessee? Then you get on the phone and you talk to somebody. What are you doing? Girl, these kids just cut me off. And all of a sudden, you are in this negative spiral of connected vibratory energy that is only manufacturing more. Listen to this quote I'm going to give you because from the same conversations we've been having with this 17 seconds. Abraham Hicks says, not only does the thought you are choosing right now attract the next thought and the next. See, every thought that you have, it attracts the next thought. It also provides the basis of your alignment with your inner being. As you consistently and deliberately think and speak more of what you want and less of what you do not want, you'll find yourself more often in alignment with the pure positive essence of your own source. And under those conditions, your life will be pleasing to you. You see, this pattern it's a dot. It's a connected dot. It goes from moment to moment to moment. And sometimes you have to work it because it is a deliberately initiated series of connected vibrations. You get control in this moment how you're reacting to something. And you can seek confirmation and affirmation to the good things that are there for you in your own mind. This is before you get next to anybody else. This is before you get next to anybody else. This is all the inner work. The real work is the inner work, y'all. The real work is the inner work. I got one more point to make. And then I'll take some questions. But the reason why this is important to say is because realistically, there is no other work other than the inner work. For those very few of you who are under the sound of my voice, the 0.001% of you, because I know nobody else would have ever done this, but to the 0.001% of you who have attempted to change somebody else, I know it's the minority, the overwhelming minority. Nobody here has ever tried to change somebody else or expect somebody to change for you or to think that if they changed, it would make things better based on what they're doing and not who they are, because who they are is who they're being. And we're not human doings, but we're human beings. But we can think we can change their being. But for that little tiny minority of people who think that other people's changing is going to fix what we need to fix about yourself, absolve yourself, forgive yourself, see it as a historical marker, and recognize that the only true change that we have is our own inner work so that we can be the being that we want to be for other people. So when we look at it in this way, we are responsible for each thought that connects to the next thought. And look, even the person that just said, it's easy for you to say, Rev, you always, but some of us out here living real life and I need people to meet me where I am. I know, I can feel it, I know. Guess what? You just started 17 seconds that you can't get back because you have now established a premise. Or it's nice for you. Some of us ain't get it. And then guess what? Matching thought is coming to you. Your 17 seconds has now initiated a vibration so that now you're going to get confirmation from that. And you're going to start thinking of all of the evidence that you have in your life that it don't work well for you. And then you're going to delay your path to being by filling the path to being with a lot of things to do. I'm going to get on that, but for right now, I'm just going to go to brunch so I can forget about this. I'm going to go do this so I can forget about this. And I'm going to get to that in the future. No, no, no. Right now is when you're supposed to get to it. 17 seconds. We're not even, I can't throw away the third point because it's important. But I can do what Spirit says do, or else I'm not being responsible for who I'm being. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath. And I want you to focus on a good thought. Something good about yourself. Not something that somebody tells you is good about yourself, but something that you can look at and say confidently that you love about yourself. Focus on that. Form it in an inner affirmation in your mind. I am. I have, I am, whatever it may be. Focus on that. Focus on how good it feels to know this about yourself. Now focus on what kind of things that attribute could get in the world that you love and you desire. Think about that. Affirm again for yourself how good it is to be that, and that it's true. How does it feel to walk into a room with other people who are feeling the same way? Stop. That was 68 seconds. Okay? Now, in the real world, see, you didn't even think about it, right? It went quick. But the reason why it went quick is because you are now consumed with a positive vibrational energy. And when you're connecting dot to dot, thought to thought, what you're also now doing is bringing that future when you run into those people closer into your present. Because now you have now run the flag up the pole. You've now hit the on switch on the broadcast signal. You've put it out in the universe. So now those thoughts can now be attracted to you. That's the benefit of doing that. And sometimes it is moment to moment to moment. What about when it's not? Third point. When you can't see a pattern, that's that pattern we just practiced. Approach and embrace vibrational experiences like you would a scavenger hunt. One clue simply leads to another until you score the prize. I'm dying laughing because this scavenger hunt thing, when it came through, Brother Martin, I said, well, what the heck? I was like, I woke up, I said, scavenger hunt. And the only thing I thought about was Lady Kanika scavenger hunt that we would do on New Year's with the kids. And it was like scavenger hunt, scavenger hunt. And for those of you who've been on a scavenger hunt, what you recognize is the point of contact is a dot, one dot to the next. The point of contact that you reach one clue is not the end of the journey. It simply leads you to the next clue, which leads you to another until you score the prize. 17 seconds. 17 seconds, 17 seconds of vibrational positivity that creates a vortex that is infinite and continual. So let's talk about this vibrational experience. Let's talk about this in real time. Who knows, who's willing to type in or say, a vibrational experience that was a scavenger hunt, that was one clue that may lead to another when you look at it in your life as a life experience. What's something that could have been bad that may have led to another? I'm going to get us started. A relationship. I know nobody here has been in a negative relationship. I got a ton of people who are so perfect. But as for me, there were times when I was in a relationship, I said, Lord, how did we get here? Don't really want to be here. I tried this love thing for the last time. Oh, said no. This is what happened when you had the voices in here. Hey, remember when that time you were in that thing and it was cool, and then you recognized there was a turning point. And when you get grown, you will. And listen, young people, there are times where it doesn't matter if your brains are formed or not, whatever it may be. There are times where you have friends you thought were cool with you in the cafeteria, and they turn on you. It's the same thing that happens. It's part of the process. I appreciate you staying with me, but relationships sometimes turn. But if you've ever been in a bad, quote unquote, relationship on the scavenger hunt, it led you out of it to another. And then if you had another relationship that ended up better, you ended up naturally, comparatively looking forward and looking back and saying, if I had not been through what I went through there, I would not appreciate where I am right now. Even if it's happy by myself. One of the writers said, I can do bad all by myself. But that's the thing with relationship. Look at this. Let's take this into the practical zone. Starter home. We've had a house, you've had an apartment. Joshua got an apartment. It's just the starter space. Right? And you may have to know when to bring things in, when to bring things out, know when to bring a box, know to bring a black trash bag. And all of those things, but they're just a point that is leading you to an experience that will lead you to another experience that as you live grows gratitude and appreciation. But you're having gratitude for the experience that you're having in real time. Some of you may not be in the place you envision that you're going to be, but it doesn't stop you from being grateful for having a good roof over your head. It doesn't stop you from being grateful for not being outside. It doesn't stop you from being grateful as you plan the future. And then guess what? Because we started out in the community center, or we started out in an actor studio. And as we tell the story, we moved somewhere else. Then we moved to a community center. Then we moved here. And now as we are growing and expanding, we recognize that now as we prepare to move and to think about bigger and better places as a fellowship, we know now what we need by being in a space where we are limited on some levels. We need a gathering space, yeah. We need a bigger meditation space, yeah. We need a space where we can have yoga going on 5 days a week. We need a studio with walls for dance. We need a courtyard for people to gather. We need an amphitheater space. We need a commercial kitchen for people to back up to and cook. We need a courtyard where food trucks can assemble. We need a place where we can show movies. We need a planetarium ceiling. We need all of this. Because we go dot to dot, and it's like a scavenger hunt. And when somebody says, I want to do a service there, and we say, oh, wait a minute, we don't have doors wide enough to accommodate what you're trying to do. So guess what? There's the scavenger hunt clue that got us there that takes us to say, in our next place, we got wide doors that open out. In our next place, we have ADA accessible spaces where people can come. In our next space, we have interpretive people who can come in and help those who may be challenged in sight and sound to be able to still experience infinity. Oh, we need these things. And not only do we need these things, these are what we're manifesting. We need woods, and we need flatlands to grow some food. We need places where people can come and gather in community and exercise and work. Oh, yes, dot to dot to dot. Because now that we're putting it in the collective 17 seconds of this community, we are now expanding on a whole new level, creating those vibrational experiences. Third thing I'll give us, faith and belief system. This is where we are. Sometimes it's just a stop. When somebody asks me a question, well, Rev, where you feel on this? I said, here's where I am. Here's where Spirit leads me. And I reserve the right to evolve. In a chaotic world, people seek order. And many times with faith and belief, it is an easy way for people to provide a simple solution that provides often that they follow some prescription that is outside of themselves. Whereas in this space, I'm telling you that the secret lies within. That you've got to be willing to move, expand, and grow based on what your God of your acceptance and understanding is showing you in real time. And if you can do that, you can connect the dot. Sometimes you were just there in that place that you used to be in to meet the people that will remind you that you are in the right frequency vibration. I have this wonderful misfit collection of people across different faiths, paths, and traditions who I have met in those spaces who we realize, you know what? Well, we may not be in alignment on everything that we think spiritually, but when we get together and do some art stuff, oh my God, I'm so glad I found you. I went to an entire month in one place with 4,000 or 5,000 people, and only one person emerged. But that one person is still with me 10 years later because I was at that crossroads in order to connect, to have an aha moment to say, yes, this is for me. And there are people here as we prepare to come home. There are people here who came for a reason, for a season, and some for a lifetime. And it's all beautiful and it's all good and there's no judgment. As long as you're getting your spiritual food, as long as you are growing, it is a notch. It is a stop on your scavenger hunt and it will help you to score the prize. When you can't see a pattern, approach and embrace vibrational experiences like you would a scavenger hunt. One clue simply leads to another. These are the ways that we travel from dot to dot to dot. Brother Craig said online, he said, were we in person to get today? No, we weren't in person today. He was missing out. He heard y'all laughing. The voices of infinity. The voices of infinity are practicing. Brother Craig might be a singer. He might be a secret singer. You have to stop by and be a secret singer, but yeah. No, we just happen to have some accoutrement from the beautiful voices that are here to put in some work and some time. So listen. Oh, look at that. Tyrell's already putting in there. Tyrell said loss or transition of a loved one. These are all moments, vibrational moments for us here. So listen, what questions do you have? I'll open it up for a minute for questions that you have. If y'all have a question here, Lady Kanitha, would you give them a microphone? And we'll get to that if anybody has a question. Don't miss an opportunity to get any kind of clarity. You can say anything you need to say. If you have something online, I've got you up on the window. Of course, by all means, go ahead and put that question, comment, or observation online in the chat box. Do it now. It takes a minute or two for it to populate on the stream because we're streaming on 3 platforms. So please do not miss this opportunity for us to have a spiritual question answered or put something into the dialogue here that gives us something to share. Was there someone back there? Oh, pass him the mic. Yeah, we all good, Mark? Reggie's mic? Good. Thank you.
I have one question.
Okay.
So we're familiar with the story of like Little Red Riding Hood, right? Mm-hmm. When she goes to approach her grandmother's house, she goes into the house, and then you have the wolf who is being portrayed as the grandmother, right? Then she starts to believe that it is grandmother until she starts recognizing certain clues. So like, how do we avoid those said traps in our own everyday lives?
How do we avoid those kind of traps in our everyday lives? That was a really good both anecdotal and metaphorical study. It was a good analysis, example rather, Martin, because the wolf in that case, to pull it back to what we're talking about, the wolf in that case was actively doing. It put on grandmama's dress. It put on grandmama's wig. Put on grandmama's spectacle. It was around there cooking, doing all the things that grandmama did, right? It was doing all of those things. So it was outwardly taking on the attributes of grandmama, although it wasn't grandmama. It wasn't being. And when Little Red Riding Hood began her inquisitive process, she was not asking questions about what the wolf was doing. She was asking questions about being and the nature, because she knew something ain't right about this. Yeah, my grandmama can cook cookies. Yeah, my grandmama wears that dress. Yeah, my grandmama has that wig. My grandmama has those glasses, but something just don't feel right. And the reason why something didn't feel right is because she didn't detect her grandmother's being. So when we encounter people, when we encounter circumstances that we think, first and foremost, we're not seeking those. The reason why she was able to determine what was what is because she came back home to try to come. She didn't go out seeking things. So what we're doing is we find ourselves seeking experiences instead of allowing experiences. So when we're getting ourselves ready, we often get ourselves ready by doing. I think about the largely missed phase I had. I never was a super going out to the club guy. Never, I was just kind of like, why don't people just sit down and have conversations? I don't. And now maybe it's because I was in theater, so I would go into theater and I look at the group of guys and they'd be looking over and the ladies, I'd be like, okay, he is trying to signal to her and then she is turning her back, but then she's really whispering, so she really likes him. And that was just all of this playing out. I'm watching all of this. However, in the process of going out, often going out is about doing. How'd I look in these clothes? How'd I look? Is my haircut right? Do I have the right color on? It matches my skin tones. And I got the right cologne on. Or ladies, do I have the right perfume on? Are these heels I'm going to be able to get in? And often the doing becomes such a massive list that we end up acting in more doing than we act in being. So it really comes down to the same question. Are we doing or are we being? Because by the time then I would get into a social place and I would have a conversation, I'd say, excuse me. And my dad was older. My dad was like, oh, if you see a young lady you're interested in, go say hello, talk. But then I realized in that environment, oh, hi, how are you? My name is, they were like, and I was like, oh, I'm supposed to make a line. I'm supposed to have the right line so I can have the right game. And then the right game is going to get the right interest from the right person. And so then I was like, everybody would talk about it. No, when you get together, and then millions of dollars are made by dating books, by guys who teach you how to spit game so you can get people. And then it just threw me because I was like, I don't want to do this because then I'm creating a persona that is not me. Obviously, the person responding to me is not responding organically because they also have to have game. So they're either operating from create this external demeanor that says that I'm funny, I'm witty, or think like a man, act like a woman, or whatever it is, the current they would say, act like a woman, think like a man, whatever it may be. They're going through all these filters and all these notes, and then it's like, what do you have? You have two human doings trying to outdo each other, and two human beings who can't connect. So this portal that we get from Little Red Riding Hood scenario is that being always shines through. Doing goes away. So when you're being your authentic self, you are actually going to attract other authentic people from 17 seconds to 17 to 68 and beyond. You begin to now put the thought in the universe. And those of you know, you tried. Many of you here, many of you at home, you've tried this. You've done this. You've said, I am going to change the way I vibrate. And you walk out and your experiences are different. I have few negative experiences when I have to interact with people in environment. I have a car almost break down in some town, one light town past Arkansas, between Texarkana, Arkansas and Texarkana, Texas. And I had to go to the AutoZone, and there was all kind of Make America Great signs around and all kind of stuff flying in there. And I had no issue. I walked in there, said, hey fellas, I got, they were like, hey, I was like, hey man, had a great little experience, came out. I talked to people, it's like, were you scared? I was like, no. Because I'm not putting out fear energy. And I'm not putting out negative energy. And I'm not putting out judgmental energy. I am focused on being me, and I'm not going to change my energy. If anything, I'm going to see how your negative approach and your negative energy affects, how your negative energy is affected by encountering positive energy. Because I know darkness can't respond to light. But again, when we go back to this scenario where things start to spiral, how do we enact? How do we act when things start to spiral? Do we allow them to take our 17 seconds thought to thought down into a negative direction? Then we replicate it? Because think about when something negative happens on the way to work. What ends up happening is often we try to find a listening ear so that we can express this, and it creates an entire vibrational space of negativity, and our morning is ruined. And then we couldn't even be the human doing that we're supposed to be, because we couldn't get to our to-do list because we're feeling so bad. We got to arrest that thought in that moment and focus on the doing and not just what the being is. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. Yes. You got one? I got one online. Let me get that one first. And I got you. Terrell says, when young'uns come to you for help with their scavenger hunt, how do we assist without finding the clues for them? Woo, woo, woo. My people in the balcony. This is a thin line. This is a thin line. A couple of months ago, sitting here on the same day, third Sunday, we had Dr. Michelle Stevens, and we talked about adverse childhood experiences, ACEs. And we talked about the necessity of this thin line between not doing everything for your children and being supportive. Because if you're supportive, you nurture them, you guide them. But if you do everything for them, they never develop resilience. And so they expect that everybody's going to do for them, and it also leads to entitlement. So these are sticky issues here. But the number one thing that you do is you communicate. And you communicate to the extent that you can at an age-appropriate level that you're there to support, but there are some things that you can't rescue them from. If they have a conflict with one of their friends, you can teach them how to navigate conflict. You can teach them how to listen to somebody else. You can teach them how to ask questions that are important. What did you contribute to this conflict? Why did this person take it that way? Those are very adult sensibilities that are described on a granular level for young people. That's the foundation. So it takes communication, and it takes you being in tune to where you were when you were their age as well. Because sometimes we put adult sensibilities on kids, and we think they should have known better. Well, you should know better. They should know better. No, well, you didn't know better. Your scavenger hunt's still going. And the experience that you had was 40 stops ago. And the reason why you were on that stop is because you didn't know what you were doing there. My daddy always would say, hey, what Carly said, son, honor thy mother and thy father, that thy land lives be long on the land that the Lord thy God giveth thee. And I understood it. I practiced it and all of that. Raise up a child where it should go, and when it get old, it will not depart from its way. I understood that. I got it eventually. I got it more, though, when I got older. And I started to understand it, because when I was at a certain age, I didn't want to hear that. You know, when your kids are at that certain age, when they become know-it-alls, where they know more than you? I've had a little bit of that experience from time to time. I look at my kids, but it's okay, because in the old school, they're going to say, okay, it's all right. You're going to learn the three words. You're going to learn. You're going to learn. Life will teach you that. But as parents, Brother Tyrell, as parents, it is difficult. And I'm going to give you this encouragement. It is difficult to watch your children struggle. It is difficult. Brother Andy had a picture of a chrysalis that had become, it was a cocoon, and the butterfly was struggling to get out. It's difficult to watch because it's a slow and tedious process. But as we talked about before, it is exactly that process that allows the fluid to flow into the wings that transform the caterpillar into a butterfly. If you assist in the process, you actually are creating a butterfly that will die and be prey. So think about this in conversations and communications when you approach, and also give your children time to struggle. Give them things to struggle and grapple with. You begin to help build the neural patterns that they need to be able to problem solve. Now, when it becomes a question of struggle or survival, that's what parenting is for, to make sure that they survive, that they're there. But we also don't want to rob them of a struggle that is necessary. Pay attention to how they feel about themselves. When you allow a child to struggle, but the parental voice is also saying, listen, you're beautiful. Listen, you're smart. Listen, you can do this. Listen, I know it's tough, but I believe in you. That's different from just saying they're going to fend for themselves. And that's where the nexus is. You find that sweet spot where you're encouraging them and you're pouring into them. And that helps you to guide them while at the same time empowering them. And as a parent, we have these conversations as a parent here. When people say, well, what do you want to leave legacy for your children? What do you want to leave? What do you want to make sure? Listen, I've seen it. I've been through it. People fight over stuff. I'm going to say it the real thing that it is. But it's stuff. It's stuff that you can't stick into a vault. It's stuff that you can't stick into a heavenly car. It's stuff that you can't burn on the altar and it's going to go to heaven, or it's going to go to Amentet or Nirvana. It's going to go with you. It's just stuff. It's clothes, it's houses, it's land. It's great. But I got to ask once, I said, what do you want to gift your children? I said, I want them to be decent human beings. I want them to be happy doing what they do in life. I want them to be confident, and when they don't get confident, to have the tools to work through it. I think that's awesome. I don't want to put my kids on a spreadsheet and teach them that somehow it's the edge of the spreadsheet that makes them who they are. Because oftentimes when you see that, people have the spreadsheet and they have the assets lined up, but somewhere in the middle, there is no connection to being a human being, because the end of the tally of the spreadsheet was about everything that the parent did as a human doing, to the point where they missed the relationship because they were always at work. Or they miss a relationship because they decide to go on a vacation with the CEO as opposed to the boat with the family, because they were trying to advance this thing. And that's why you reach a point when people get frustrated. They say, look, you can take all of that. I don't care. I'm not attached to it. I'd rather spend that time with my family. And that's how you know you're operating in a space of being that is powerful, and that's being handed down generationally. When we begin to hand down the essence of what is the true meaning of life, that's how we go from pieces, because pieces is now defined as material wealth in America, when it's not. It's who we are. It's our heart. It's our mind. It's our spirit. It's our connection to the universe. It's a connection to our gifts, to divine source. That's what true being is. When we do that, it becomes a part of the puzzle of prosperity that allows us to now heal ourselves now and going forward. And I don't care if you're parent, I don't care if you're auntie, I don't care if you're older cousin, I don't care whoever you are to the family, the neighbor in the street, I don't care who you are, you have an opportunity to connect with somebody based on the vibrational space that you are in right now. So it is. Deshauna says, as Neville says, stop believing in God and start believing as God. If you can believe as God, and again, the God of your acceptance and understanding. I was talking to one of my family members the other day, and I was reminded of one of my favorite scenes in The Count of Monte Cristo. And yes, I am human, so part of reason I liked that book and that movie was that he did get the opportunity to pay back the people who did him wrong. And he did it in a remarkable way. He was so good. But in the very end, he chose the higher path, of course. But I'll never forget the older man that was in the cell with the Count before he became the Count. And he was struggling through, and he had taught him everything. He had taught him how to read and taught him how to be literate and taught him sword fighting and actually poured into him as a man. And he was going to use all of these negative, these great things for negative for his revenge when he got out. He even helped him dig a tunnel and all of that. And the old man's dying. And it's one of my favorite movie lines ever, next to I am your father. James is still in my head. One of my favorite lines is the old man is dying, and this is who's been keeping him company all of these years that he's been wrongfully imprisoned. And he looks to the old man, and the old man said, basically he says, God bless you. And he says at this point, he said, I don't believe in God. And he looks at him, he said, don't worry, he believes in you. I said, wow, that's a great line. I said, he believes in you. So seeing yourself instead of, as Tashana said, stop believing in God, believe as God. If you could see yourself the way the God of your acceptance and understanding sees you, you just know how awesome you are. And you begin that vibrational sequence again. 17 seconds. I want y'all to take that with you. It's a spiritual practice. See how it happens today. You're going to be tripped out. I was talking vibrationally with someone who was at a funeral, and I mentioned a person that I observed at the funeral who was sitting in the choir stand. This is just last week. And this morning, as I was taking the person to the airport, we were talking about this energy just yesterday about that person. I said, do you know that person? It's like, yeah. I said, when I was a child, we told the stories. It's like, wow, I didn't know you know them. They texted me on the way. They said, you'll never guess what. I said, what? I'm on the plane with that person. I said, what? But then I said, of course you are. And we brought that person up in a positive vibrational space. So of all of the people, of all of the places, of all of the circumstances, of the people that I took to the airport, and they called me to the airport and said, guess who I'm here with? And this is a person I knew from high school, and I just talked about them. These things happen. And you begin to know that they're not coincidence, but they are vibrational frequency. And I'm so glad that it was a vibrational frequency of good. So they were delighted to see him on the plane. Yes.
Okay. I hope it makes sense.
Yes,
Is that
it will.
Okay.
17 seconds, y'all,
17
for any other
seconds.
questions in the chat before we get to the rest of the close out.
Okay, so I was thinking about the 17 seconds, and usually I don't see stuff in words. That's your thing. That's what you see. But it was interesting that beings and doings. So beings has the same letters as begins, and doings has the same letters in dosing. And so when I was thinking about this, so being, each 17 seconds begins. It gives you a new beginning, which is very unlimited. And also, you're not involved so much in the details, right? So you get a think about your 17 seconds, and in that moment, I'm enjoying being here presently with the air. Maybe it's that, I'm enjoying that I was just able to feel myself presently right now. I can see myself presently feeling good, and then you're going. But then with the doings, and you're always dosing, it's very limited. So you are so involved in the details. So it goes from 17 to, oh, what do I need to do next? Oh, well, okay, oh, Jesus, this is due in the next 17 seconds. Okay, I'm
gosh,
not going to
it's out,
meet
yeah.
my deadline. Oh, wait, is there a deadline for this? Oh, and so it does vibrationally put you somewhere else. So,
Do y'all
but I
feel that
thought was
spiral when she gave that? Do y'all feel that spiral with her? Yeah.
So I was just thinking about that when I'm reminded about those 17 seconds, because that was so good. It's just, in each moment you get to choose if it's going to begin something new, if it's beginning and putting you into an unlimited space, or if you're in a place of doing and you're just dosing it out, and trying to barely make it with your energy, which is very limited. So.
Tony, give me that screen. When we think about the dosing, isn't it interesting that dosing also follows a path? Because that dot actually could be a pill. It could be a bottle. It could be something else that's smoking. It could be something else. And there's no judgment on any of it because the question is not these activities that we are dosing ourselves with. Thank you for following your spirit on that, Lady Kenitha. It's these activities again, right? Dosings and doings, right? But if we are using these, when we are doing these, a lot of times we're doing them because we're out of touch with our being. And a lot of time when we begin, what do we often have to do? To begin, we have to begin by stopping the dosing. So we begin by fasting. Or we begin by quitting. Why? Because when we take away these activities that we dose ourselves with, we actually begin to find clarity, new actions that reveal our true beings. Yeah, but there's nothing wrong with saying, look, I'm just not doing that right now. People say, oh, but you used to be so much fun. You say, yeah, I remember. Or depending on how much of fun I was, I don't remember. I'm glad you remember. I don't remember. I'm glad you remember. But those are things that Tony, give me back here, man. Thank you. You're right. I don't remember. Anytime you reach this is a general note as we close. It just as a general note, if you're at a point where you had so much fun you don't remember, that you're often at the point where people had more fun than you did because you don't remember. And they were part of their dosing as well. So those experiences are not, you want experiences that remind you of who you are as a being. Because once you start doing, think about this. Once you start doing in order to find affirmation, you're doing by dosing. And while you're dosing, you're going moment to moment because Outcast at Walk It Out, the package store is closed and I'm attached to my buzz, right? You got to figure out how to maintain. You have to maintain that buzz because that buzz has put you in a place where you're no longer thinking about who you're being. You have reached a point where you're no longer thinking about anything. So you're not responsible. So it has drugged you or lulled you into a space where you want to forget. But let me tell you something about reality. When your reality is steeped in being, there's no drop off. There's only a need to readjust during those 17 seconds. But when who you are or who you think you are is in doing and in dosing, there's always a time when the buzz goes away and you're right back to the same place that you were. And I'm guarantee you, it's not in your being. It's what do I now need to do to make it to the next place? And the things that we do operate antithetically to who we want to be. This used to come to me in church when people would stand up. I need you to, pray for me. Where I need y'all to pray for me because the devil's trying to kill me. The devil's trying to kill and destroy me. And I'm literally not, this is not a joke. This is not a, I was at a repast and the guy was like, I need y'all to pray for me. The devil's trying to destroy me, trying to come at me with this heart disease and these diabetes. And the brother, he limped up to the table, filled a plate with fried chicken, filled another plate with country ham, and then filled another plate that he split with half a slab of ribs and mac and cheese, had nothing else in it, and then had a spot of greens, which really wasn't greens because he had picked the leg, the neck bone thing out of the pork thing out of and put it on the plate, and whatever was attached to the ham bone there was the greens. And the only thing I could think as a younger guy just new to the ministry was, is the devil forcing that on your plate right now? We can go and have the whole church pray, but if you keep doing the same things, then even in this theological construct, the devil wins. We could have told the devil, you can't come in here. We could have sent the devil into some pigs and they would have run over the cliff and gone. It's like in the Bible when Jesus, he cast the spirit into the pigs ran over the cliff. But if you're going to go to the bottom of the cliff and get the pigs that they've been run over and cut them up and barbecue and ingest them again, then it's no point. You have to now think in terms of who you are meant to be, because then we what? We shorten our lifespans. We make it so it's uncomfortable to live. It's uncomfortable to move. And we start thinking that, so we keep dosing and dosing and dosing. And instead of changing our lifestyle, we want another drug for it. We want to get another drug. We want something that's going to get us there. We live in a world where we are dosing ourselves out of existence, instead of being ourselves into eternity. And so you have an opportunity now to recognize the responsibility, as we go back to what we said at the very beginning. The responsibility is to prep ourselves vibrationally, that we attract those others who are in that like vibration. And that's where we are. If you want to be in a healthy vibration, be in a healthy vibration. You'll attract healthy people. Then you go around other people, they say, oh, well, you used to. So, well, I don't do that anymore. Here's what I'm focused on. And when they recognize the positive vibration, they say, I get that. I appreciate that. Or they will criticize you. And that's not when you snap down off of yourself. Look, I tried to tell you. Oh, no. Change my thought. The universe has given me another clue on my scavenger hunt that said we're not in vibrational frequency anymore. Thank you for revealing yourself. Because anybody that comes to you based on a choice that you have made that has been centered in you being the best that you can be, anybody who would criticize that, not see and affirm that, that's just the universe saying to you, no longer can they be in your space. Wish them well. Allow them to participate in dosing somebody else. All right, one more quick one and then we're out. Christy Sharp, when you're in a positive space yet loved ones are not, what are some tips or suggestions to keep from being swallowed up in their energy? We just went through that. Christy, you were right in alignment there. There are times, I'm being transparent, my voices are here, so they got to notice. Being transparent, Terrence, I've wondered sometimes if I have sociopathic tendencies. I'm willing to say that for the record, but it has to come with an explanation. It's not because I'm lacking in empathy. The ability to compartmentalize, I struggled with until I realized that A, it's a characteristic of a good artist, but it's also a characteristic of someone who has committed to practicing spiritually this law of attraction. And when you operate by that vibration, it doesn't mean that you're operating in perfection, but you begin to understand, if you have been working on your 17 seconds, and you're working on your 68 seconds, and you've been attracting places, when you go and have people around you who, yes, they're family, yes, they're related, ooh, man. Yes, universe, I'm dealing with the same thing even with my family members right now. But when you're dealing with that, you are empowered by recognizing in your brain, in your psyche, in your consciousness, in your sphere of awareness that how you're acting has nothing to do with me and everything to do with something that you're struggling with that I can't fix for you. And so it doesn't mean that I got to match your vibration. I watched my father go through conflict situations I never knew. He would always, looking back, I was like, I think my dad practiced law of attraction. He just may not have called it that. But there would be chaos, stuff going on in the neighborhood, sometimes misunderstandings in the house. And my dad would be like, oh, what a beautiful morning. Oh, what a beautiful day. I got a beautiful feeling. Everything's going my way. He would do that. And I can't pick, I never knew it was some song from the musical Oklahoma, right? I didn't know that, but all my life I've hummed that song during times. When I face situations, I'll be like, da, ba, ba, da, 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 da. And I'm like, I realize I'm not going to allow their vibrational frequency to bring me down. And I know when I need to leave the space, right? Because sometimes, I'm going to tell you one thing. They used to say that. They used to say, I think it was Denzel was talking about, they don't like your positivity because it agitates their demons. That's what Denzel said. He was like, people don't. They don't like, you gotta come in here all positive, up, lifting, right up. Oh, think I'm gonna go out and get my water and go out to the deck. Love you. Don't provoke people, of course. Don't provoke them, but you also have to realize that oftentimes when I've been in difficult situations, even when they're volatile, afterwards people have come back. I've not always done it well, because again, we're practicing this, right? But people, when you've done it well, will come back later and say, thank you for not taking the bait. I was hurting, I was lashing out, and I didn't mean to do this to you. And that's when you say, it's okay, I understand. If you need to talk to me, talk to me. Whatever you say, don't say, see, that's why I told you got to practice this law of attraction. Don't do that, because that can be a temptation to do that too. But you also want to make sure that first and foremost, you recognize that it is your responsibility to create the vibrational space that you want to, and it will not come without challenge. I'll guarantee you, when we get good 68 seconds from people who leave here, when you sign off this stream in a minute, one of the first things that's going to happen is a test. It's going to be a crossroads. It's going to be an opportunity for you to see, am I vibrating high still? Or oh man, I feel really good. Click, here's the text. And that's what you have to do. You have to go, okay, this is it. Scavenger hunt, clue. Do you believe, my friend, in what you claim? All right. Gotcha. Then that's going to happen because it's the nature of life. However, through practice, you continually begin to now align your circumstances, and you'll see that may affect people in your family. I don't want to pronounce that it will, because I don't want to now create an expectation that everybody else is going to change. We already been through that. Expecting other people to change is not going to be the end pursuit. Transforming yourself and allowing that light to then offer people an opportunity to experience the light that you have, that is the only consistent way that people can be changed and transformed. One of my greatest teachings that I absorbed from Jesus, I love the parables and I love the stories. It's just unmatched in human history by many people. But when he says, I am the way, the truth, and the light, no one comes to the Father except by me, he's saying, I am the example of what you can be. I'm working on this. Here's what I am. I'm not going out beating people over the head and telling them what they are. I'm saying, hey, if you want to come hang out, I got some, things to share. Well, the people are hungry. Well, bring me the fishes, bring me the loaves. We'll make it work. Well, how are we going to make it work? Don't worry about it. I got it. Take a piece there, take a piece there. All of a sudden, it's 5,000 fish. And all that. It's like, what? How did you? Hey, man, don't worry about it. Look, here's what I got for you. Jesus, man, everybody's having a party, man, and we're out of wine. Hey, what you worried about, man? Here, come here, give me that. Bring. All right, take that in there. You know, I was like, wow, not even bothered. Just tapping the barrels with wine. It's like, so my old friends from the street be like, that's the Jesus I want to hang out with, man. Just like, he putting liquor stores out of business. There'll be all that kind of stuff. For funeral homes and liquor homes, stores, he's putting them out of business. But again, you think about it though, no effort. No effort. There's no effort in these spaces. Easy. It's in there. T, you got a question? Observation. Pass him the mic because it's going to be a good one. Come on, T.
Similar to how he was talking about Red Robin, Lord, I don't know, Red Riding Hood, thank you.
We were hungry, Red Robin.
That in sitting in a space of growth and being connected and understanding that there's maturity in that space of silence, learning that you can hit the reset in that 17 seconds. Finding that if you feel that opportunity to go negative starting to vibrate, that similar to like the tuning fork, you just grab it, stop it, and start again.
Grab it, start it, stop again. I got you, man. Here's what happens, right? Tony, give me this board just for a second. What you're talking about, Terrence, is a start point. 17 seconds, 17 seconds, 17 seconds is like a roller coaster. It just builds momentum. And that momentum then begins to take off and take you even higher and higher and higher. You always have a point where you may have to stop. And you may have to say, look, let me hit the reset. Because momentum works both ways. It works for the good, it works for the bad, it works for everything. Those moment to moment, as Lady Kenitha would say, moment to moment, that is what builds the momentum. And it's going to build the momentum in one way or another. So you get to choose whether you're going to stop yourself when you see yourself spiraling and you're going to elevate yourself, or whether you're going to jump down into the spiral. That's I'm going in, and I'm going to need a week-long retreat to heal from it. Sometimes you find yourself saying it, but I don't recommend that. I recommend always that you catch yourself in those moments, because guess what? Here's the thing about connecting on the 17 seconds. When you're talking about positivity and vibrational space and frequency, the recognition that you need to make an adjustment is itself a positive thought. You could be seen as criticism. You could say, oh man, I'm being negative. Let me stop myself. Oh no, the fact that you recognize that you're about to be negative is in itself a positive frequency vibration. It is saying that I've loved myself enough now to recognize this and to treat myself in this moment accordingly. This is a great observation. Great observation. All right, y'all. This has been spoken, as received it is. We've had us a day today. So go ahead and just sit where you are right now. Matter of fact, let's go ahead and stand up. Let's send some energy into the universe as we get ready to go. If you're at home with us, we want you to stand if you're able. Rub your hands together and let's just create some light. This is a golden ball of creativity, of goodness, of joy, positive vibration, a recognition of the gifts that you have in you, a recognition of the gifts that you have around you. If you got your best friend and your best friend is in the mirror, that's beautiful. If you got another best friend outside of that, that's even more beautiful. Begin with that attraction. You got life, you got breath, it's all in you now. Take that ball of light now, let's press it onto our hearts. We spend a few seconds here just inhaling this light energy, absorbing it through our heart space, allowing it to emanate from our heart space outward through our veins, carrying it into our shoulders, into our arms, down into our bellies, down to our toes and our fingertips, shooting out the hair follicles into the sky, radiating from our eyes behind our closed eyelids. Beings of pure eternal spirit and light. Feeling ourselves, seeing ourselves as we truly are right now in the image and likeness of God. God is this eternal flowing ocean. We just, in these vessels, a cup from that ocean, made of the same stuff. By pouring ourselves back in, we connect with the divine cosmos, with everything that we are. We give thanks today. We give thanks, O Spirit, for the revelations that have come, for those that are on the way. We thank you for this moment of recognizing that beyond doing, we are delighted human beings. We're so glad to just be today, to be good, to be grateful, to be talented, to be gifted, to be smart, to be beautiful, to be divine, to be all of these attributes that belong to you. We absorb and remember them right now, most importantly. We not only remember them in this moment, but we remember them second to second to second. We remember them day by day, week by week, month by month, year by year. We speak a recommitment to understanding how this energy can attract that which we need. In this moment, all our needs are met. As we inhale and exhale, we believe, we know that all is indeed well. And from this space of clarity, we speak that this gratitude extends and covers our friends and family. For those who may be struggling, may we continue to be a comfort to them in a positive way, and through example, lead them to loving their inner being. We thank you and know that nothing is impossible, that all things are operating according to divine timing, and that something is doing and happening today that will lift us higher and higher. Clarity, joy, peace, forgiveness, all of these divine attributes. This is who we be. And so it is. Amen. Amen. Hotep. Shalom. Namaste. Ashe. Deep inhale in, exhale, release. Rub those hands together, and we're going to send some around the space wherever we are in the world. Yes, Infinite Life Streamers, you get to send them out. Let your family, if they're in the other room, they may be with you now, but let them come in there after this and say, I don't know what hit me, but I just feel like I love you all over again. It's like, I don't know what that could be. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Woo. And so it is. Y'all give us some snaps to the place in this place. All right. Well, y'all listen, we're time to go on out of here right now. We're going to go ahead and just sing our closing song because we got folks at home. Listen, in the chat, I want to encourage you to find somebody in the Infinite Life Stream, at their name, and speak a blessing upon them. Speak them a blessing on who they are. Tell them to be. So say, Destiny, be awesome. Say, Tashana, be amazing. Say, Tyrell, be strong. Whatever your be is, find somebody, and find somebody you don't know. Because this is how we continue to send this energy into the world. We'll put the words up on the screen, and we shall sing our way from this place. Oh, we got some voices in the house, so we got it. Let's do it. If today's a brighter day and we are on our way, then we can begin to heal ourselves again. Oh, we remember yesterday, and yet today's the day. God's reminding me to look at you and see family. If today's a brighter day and we are on our way, then we can begin to heal ourselves again. Oh, we remember yesterday, and yet today's the day. God's reminding me to look at you and see family. God's reminding me, God's reminding me to look at you and see family. God keeps reminding me, God's reminding me to look at you and see family. We speak in this moment that the love of God, the wisdom of the ancestors, and the infinite and abundant power of the universe rest, rule, and abide with us henceforth, now and forevermore. Let us sing together. Amen, Amen. Hotep Shalom, Namaste, Ashe. All right, y'all, we're done here today. The voices are here. They're going to rehearse. It's going to be a heck of a first Sunday in October. I'll see you all next week for Yoga Sunday. Y'all, we love you. This is Rev Jeff. It's a fact you cannot change. We'll see you soon.